I'm Lando Norris.
And I'm Piastri, and we're from Team McLaren.
And today we're going to answer some questions from the internet.
This is Formula One support.
We got a little question from the ulterior kid. Is it true that F1 drivers can tell what course it is from just hearing an audio recording of it?
I've seen people do it before.
I feel like I'm going to be terrible at this.
Well, this is coming down the pit
We're
lane.
in the pit lane at the minute.
Yep. Long pit lane. Okay, this is a very slow corner. I reckon it's Bahrain. Yeah, quick turn to...
I think Bahrain,
left straight. I think Bahrain.
You're right.
It is.
There you go. It's true. It's
The
possible.
ulterior kid is true.
Yeah.
So that was just done via our knowledge of distance of pit exit
Yeah.
to turn one.
The distance from the pit lane to the first corner is always different depending on the track. It sounded like we got up to like, I don't know, 5th gear or 6th gear, and then we went down a lot of gears, which means it's a slow corner. And then the next corner seemed pretty quick. I thought it would be Bahrain. So there you go.
From @JSWallow123. I wonder why F1 drivers have to get weighed after a race. Do you know why?
So we have a minimum weight limit of 798 kilograms, including the car. That's why we get weighed, just to make sure that we're not under the weight limit, because obviously that's an advantage.
We do lose weight because we're sweating,
Yeah.
we're working hard. Doesn't always look it, but we are. Sometimes you have a very hot race, you can lose a lot. You can lose easily 3-4 kilograms.
The most weight I've ever lost is probably, three and a bit kilos. And often we weigh ourselves before the session as well, because then the engineers have a good idea of what we're going to weigh so that we're not underweight and disqualified. From Juan14, what do you think is the hardest track in F1? I think Monaco.
Probably
Definitely up
Monaco.
there. Monaco or Singapore.
Easiest one to crash,
Yeah,
easiest one to make mistakes,
yeah.
most demanding. You just can't make a mistake, simple as that. You make one little mistake, you're on the wall.
That's game
Game over. From @AshLikesRacing. What's your favorite F1 rivalry?
I think for me, probably Senna versus Prost. I think it's probably the most famous one.
We are rivals.
We are rivals, yeah.
I want to beat him and he wants to beat me.
Yeah.
But we have to pretend like we're besties. I think we both have the same goals. We both want to win. The quickest way into achieving that is by working together, helping one another, just helping the team score the most points possible. As soon as you put the helmet on, you kind of fight for yourself, but you also fight for the team. You just have to get that balance correct.
Points, you get 25 if you win, you get 18 if you're second, 15 if you're third, 12 if you're fourth, and then once you get to 5th, it's 10, and then it keeps dropping by 2s until you get to 10th, you get 1 point. And then anyone finishes from 11th to 20th, they don't get any points. You also get a fastest lap point if you get the fastest lap. Sometimes you'll see us make a bit of an unexpected pit stop or push really hard for one lap. That's because we're trying to get an extra point for the fastest lap.
And points mean prizes.
And points mean prizes.
More points you get.
The more prizes you get, the more money you get. Nick Scottney, how critical is a front wing in today's F1?
Very.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yep.
It's like as soon as you have a little bit of damage,
You know about it.
you know about it straight away. This is it. This is the front wing,
Yep.
bit of the front nose,
Yep.
and the front wing. Everything on the car is pretty much aimed at trying to push the car into
That's
the
how you get more
ground.
grip.
That's downforce. That just pushes the car down, that pushes the tires down, gives you more grip,
Yep.
basically makes you go quicker. So this is crucial when you're steering.
Yep.
You take this off, you'll turn into a corner, there's no load, there's no grip on the front tires, you'll just go straight on. Just as important as this is, the rear wing, which Oscar's pre-prepared, basically does the same thing but at the back of the car.
Yep.
Pushes the car down, gives you a lot more rear grip. It'll be difficult to even complete a lap. You would spin a lot and probably crash a lot. These are like everything to us.
Yep.
These
And
are
the
magical.
The other thing is the car is designed to have a front wing on it. So if you take the front wing off, the rest of the car doesn't really work either. But the air goes through the front wing first, obviously, and then it goes like to the floor, it goes to the rear wing. So if you lose the front wing, all the air doesn't get directed where it needs to go, and then you have even more problems than just losing the front wing.
@NanoMedium asks, what's the driver's visibility like?
Pretty bad.
You see your car,
Yeah.
the first bit of like ground that you can see, like probably 10 meters ahead. When you're driving, you're kind of just focusing on what's ahead of you. Even like, we have the halo, protects our head, but you don't really see it because similar to like your nose, you're looking far enough ahead that it kind of, your mind just blurs it out. But because you're looking 20 meters ahead, 30 meters ahead, and you get your own sense of gears, like we have the gear number on our on a screen. Maybe you do. I never look at it.
I never
Like
look
you
at
just
it
do it
either.
off of sound. You do it off of memory, off of feeling. When we pull up to the pit stop, sometimes we have people all around the car. You don't want to hurt anyone, but you also want to gain every little bit of lap time possible. So you push it as much as you can. But we still make mistakes. We misjudge it sometimes. Sometimes you kind of lock up.
Yeah.
You hit the guy, but he's ready to kind of absorb a bit of the impact. And then he jacks the car up, they change the tires, put it back down, and you go. Like the first time you do it, you enter very slowly. And you kind of slowly start to learn how much you can push it and exactly how long and wide the car is. But that's something that takes time.
We also have like a board that we kind of line our tires up with. So we have like a good reference, and we can't see much out of the car, but we can see a little bit sort of the top of the tires and a little bit above that. Otherwise, you probably see a lot more people getting hurt.
So our next question is from @BeforeWeKiss. How do you drivers know that it's time for a pit stop?
Our engineer just tells us. Ultimately, we can decide if we don't want to or not. Usually there's a pretty good reason why they would call us into the pit lane.
You kind of pit for 2 reasons. Actually, you can have 3 reasons. 1, you got damage. 2, the tires are wearing out. The tires made of rubber. Over time, that wears down. The less rubber you have, the less grip you have. So at a certain point, it's better to come into the pits, put new tires on.
They're always talking to us about how our tires are going, whether we think we can keep going, and if it gets really bad, whether we can keep the car on the track.
Sometimes you might just pit because the guy behind you is pit. Undercut is when someone pits before you, puts on fresh tires, and then by the time that you pit, you actually come out behind them. Overcuts, which is actually the opposite of that. You put on fresh tires, but really the fresh tires aren't that much better, or maybe they're difficult to warm up. Then it's actually better to go for a bit longer, pit later, and maybe you overtake someone that way. That's when you get into the more technical stuff with strategy, which is a big part of racing.
So there's a lot of communication around that side of things. So you kind of want to be able to communicate with your team without giving away too much information, because all the other teams can listen to each other's radio. That's why you never hear anyone say what lap they're going to pit, because then you tell the whole pit lane what your strategy is. From Amber Lounge Limited, what's your favorite F1 car shape? Well, we grew up watching like 2010s or late 2000s, so the old cars like Lando's holding look really cool. Much more simple than what we have now.
The McLaren MP42B 1985 Prost car. I think I've driven this one. I think I drove it in Sonoma.
All right.
Just everything is cool about it.
Yeah.
Everything. The colors, the look. Sounds incredible as well. For me, sound is a big part of everything.
Yeah.
Cars nowadays sound terrible. These sound way better. Very little technology. Everything here is to do with technology. How they build it, how they design it, make it. It just drives differently, very different. Like no power steering. Now we have power steering. So from step 1 to the end, basically everything is changed or a lot more advanced nowadays.
From @Maybelline Grace, do all F1 drivers have a max speed of 241 miles an hour? Fastest clocked has been 241 miles an hour. It feels pretty quick going at that speed. Depends on the car you're in, depends on the track, depends if you're in a slipstream as well. If you've got a car in front of you, it literally punches a hole in the air for you, so you have less drag and you can go faster. You don't really realize how fast you're going until you see, like on your dash. We'll just hit the throttle pedal as hard as we can. It's not down to us, it's down to the car. Depends a lot on the track as well, how long the straight is. So when we race in Monaco, for example, we race with the most amount of downforce on the car, so the top speed is very low. But when we go to somewhere like Monza, we run the lowest amount of downforce. We go much faster on the straights.
From T. Ange. Hi Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. I have a question for both of you. What are your rituals or warm-ups you do before going onto the race?
I always do like a physical warm-up before the race, some skipping, some stretches, and
I lie on my bed, I have a little massage, I listen to some music. The more chilled I can be, the better. One other thing we do a few days before the race is walk the track.
to see if there's anything new that's changed from the year before, or if it's a new circuit or a track we haven't been to.
Just looking at the curbs, what things to avoid, what places you definitely don't want to over push, what places you can push, places you don't want to make mistakes or you can afford to make mistakes. Different things like that.
We talk a lot about the strategy before the race, so we have some plans about what we might want to do in the race. If there's 1 pit stop or 2 or 3, we'll have plans that might have different amount of pit stops.
Next question we got from @SamuraiSofree. How does one train to become an F1 driver so that they can also have cat-like reflexes? We trained from a very early age, but luckily I got a pair of balls.
Let's put it to the test.
I'm going to test you. There's many different ways of doing things. Here's one of them.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Oh! 3. You got it! Every
Yeah.
driver does something different. I use these lights which come on, you have to react to the lights. You can also get these glasses which like flicker.
Oh yeah.
This also helps your
everyone
reactions
uses
a little
those,
bit more.
Next question is from by Brandon White. Do F1 drivers accelerate or brake on curves, on corners? What's the strategy with that? Normally you brake before the corner. If you're coming from a really long straight into a slow corner, you need to brake a lot more than if you're coming into a fast corner, or you're coming out of a slow corner and then you've got another corner. That's why you see us lock up, because we're trying to brake as much as we can. That's the strategy with that one.
So those are all the questions for today.
Thank you very much for watching Formula One Support.